Hi guys, and thank you so much for watching this video. My name is Sofía Gutierrez, and with my partner Karol we are going to talk about flexible learning and the importance of interaction. First of all, I'm going to talk about some information to bear in mind about flexible learning, and then I will give you some information about social interaction. So first of all, we need to know what is flexible learning. So this kind of learning is related to the personal characteristics of each actor, including students and teachers. Also, this is a way to individualize each student's learning, which is part of personalized education. Moreover, both teachers and students need more flexibility in order to have access to teaching processes and spaces. This kind of learning is applied to teaching and learning wherever it occurs. Can be on campus, like when we are at the university in our English classes, for example. Also, it can be off campus, that could be, I don't know, in our houses or with our friends. And the last one is cross campus. So thanks to the ICTs that I think that you already know about it, that are like the information and communication technologies, this type of learning helps students to become more independent and autonomous. In addition, it focuses mainly on the students and helps teachers to interact more easily with them, making teachers as mentors or facilitators of the content seen in classes. Also, the ICTs have helped integrate the flexibility of place, time, methods, and rhythms on teaching and learning. So according to this information, we have to take into account like some categories that occurs in this flexible learning. Okay, the first one can be like, what will the students learn? So here the teacher can define the competences that the student must fulfill. Something to keep in mind is the digital educational resources. For example, the readings, the articles, web pages, podcasts, videos, etc. But we cannot forget also the physical resources like the books and the magazines or newspaper, the physical newspapers, etc. Then we have to take into account the second category, that would be how will the student learn. So in this case, the student decide how to learn. What is the way that he or she wants to get all the information, all the knowledge. They can learn by videos, tests, audios, or conferences. So they decide which they have to choose. Then we have our third category, that is, when will the student learn? So this depends on the decisions of students and sometimes the teachers. So it can be like at classroom and at the university, at the school, in offices, or at home. Now, something that we have to take into account, because this is very important for this flexible learning, is that teachers who have practice in designing the activities for the courses and capable of supporting student-centered learning are required. So in this kind of learning, we need a teacher able to teach students throughout their lives, regardless of the background, learning styles, and previous motivations of the students. We are going to talk about the social interaction, but first of all, we need to know what is the interaction in learning. So that is the primary part in the teaching and or learning processes. So the interaction that exists in different educational experiences is what defines the ways in which the students learns the content about his peers, his friends, and even what he or she learns from his teachers. However, on some occasions, the teacher is shown to be very dominant, and also he shows to the students like someone who doesn't allow like the dialogues to take place in the classes, resulting in the students not producing any type of interaction, and that is something horrible. A clear example about it is when at the university we are like learning a new topic, and the teacher, in order to speed up his class, doesn't realize the possible doubts that the students might have, and only his domain succeeds, and he doesn't care and continue the whole class. So now we're going to talk about two very different types of interaction in learning. Those type of interaction are social and individual. So in social interaction, we can observe what happens in the day-to-day of each classroom. So according to Blandon Mena, interactions are understood as processes of association of some conscious actors with others in which there is an exchange, orientation, and affectation of behavior, and with which said actors establish a certain relationship. However, traditional teaching emphasizes this interaction, complementing it with individual interaction, where both the teacher and the student need the relationship or interaction to be in a balanced way. That means that both interact together when it is the time, and when it is a case where students must work alone, this applies so that the student can acquire their own knowledge and develop further. We have to take into account that this is done through the study guides, like the notebooks, the books that they have in their classes, also the learning programs, etc. So now we're going to continue that topic with my partner. I hope that you enjoyed this video. So please take a look at all the information that Karol will give you.
Hi everybody, I hope you enjoyed Sofia's lecture on social interaction and possible learning. Now we're going to talk about some generalities of the text, but I don't want to bore you because I know you already watched 8 minutes of footage and received a lot of content, so we're just going to talk about some challenges or downsides of the usage of ICTs in education, and we're going to talk about individual interaction. The first challenge is what? That we don't know about ICTs. We are surrounded every day by computers, TVs, and all sorts of technology, but we haven't exploited all the possibilities that it has to offer for education. But we are not just talking about finding new apps or new ways to have virtual meetings. No, we're talking about investigation, material design, material development, new methodologies. However, it is important to acknowledge that the success of new teaching methods using ICTs, these new possibilities, rely on how you conceive the relationship between students and teachers. It relies on the methodology that's behind. So there's a lot that educators, students, and everyone that's involved in these teaching methods need to assess. The second obstacle is that we're trying to teach the old way, the traditional way, but with new tools. And the problem is that this modernity has come so rapidly that we weren't prepared for it. But these are different settings, and the results and procedures that you have in a traditional classroom are going to be different than in a virtual classroom. For example, something that the author highlighted is that we're still focusing on having certifications from traditional institutions, universities, when we talk about a person's education. And so, the internet is meant to be a space for everyone, anywhere. And thinking of education as a certificate denies that opportunity for people who saw in the internet a space to learn in their own pace, and of course without having to pay insane amounts for it. So being prepared for computer-based education means changing your whole mindset. It means having administrative changes, structural changes, a change in teachers' formation, and in general, a change in our perspective of education. The third challenge has to do with teachers and students, and the thing is that computer-based education is a game changer for both of them. First, the communication changes. Some say it is not fluent enough, that it has many voids, many spaces that need to be filled because we don't have the interaction face-to-face. Also, some students, like me, are used to having a teacher telling us what to do and how to do it. So we now have to learn how to be independent, to look for our own content and know how to filter it. We need to be autonomous and set schedules for our personal learning sessions. However, not only students have to step up their game, our teachers need to be instructed on new ways of teaching, especially computer-based teaching, because some people might think it's the same. If they can do it in a classroom, they can use new resources to teach. But it is actually pretty complicated, and they deserve and need to have a new kind of education too.
She's a Mona Lisa. Everyone's lining up to see.
We already know students interact with other students and with teachers. But what some didn't know is that there can be individual interaction in education, and it is really important, especially in computer-based education. A student can interact with all sorts of things. He can interact with textbooks, audios, tutorials, study guides. He can interact with new apps, new platforms. He can interact with videos, discussions. The students' perspectives are always important when planning sessions, and this is not the exception. So what we need to do is to, apart from offering them tools, offer them strategies, offer them instructions on how to be autonomous, how to boost their learning.
There must be something that features. You'll find the beauty goes when you see her walking down the boulevard. She got the posture of
A question that is stated in the test is, how are we gonna be teaching in 2030? And more than giving you an answer, because I don't have one, I want to know your answers. So how do you think we will be teaching?